Hailing from Asheville, North Carolina, Fireside Collective have been pushing the boundaries of bluegrass for a decade, continuing their journey into 2024. Throughout their career, the group has toured nationally, playing headlining shows, and has produced multiple albums along the way. The band is currently out on winter tour and has made a stop right here in the Capital Region at the Hollow in Albany, New York. On this episode of People and Places, we chat with Jesse from Fireside Collective about roots music, 10 years of the band, and much more.
At its core, roots music is the basis of everything. You know, like even when you get as far as Radiohead and, complex kind of digital music, you can trace it all back to roots music. And to me, I like roots music because it's a little bit more apparent where the music comes from. And I'm really into history too, and history tells a story, and so does music history. You know, when you see where bluegrass came from, it came from, different groups coming to North America and creating a sound that's like a hybrid of all these different things. And to me, the best thing about American music is hybrid, different styles coming in and influencing one another. Roots music is deep, and it feels powerful, and it feels like it reaches to the core. And, that's what I think attracted us to it. And I feel like the audiences respond to that. Throughout the years, like when we first started, we were kind of innocent and new to the road, and like the more time you spend on the road, the more you meet people, the more experiences you have, that obviously shapes the music. Like 2020 and having to take a year off of playing music was a major reflective period for us. So like the music on Across the Divide is, I feel like it's much more analytical, and Life Between the Lines is a lot of like theorizing about like what life might be like, what is it like on the road, how do you cope with that, whereas Across the Divide was more like hard experience, like we went through all this together, like, and we've decided to still play music after this. And like for me, I had a daughter during COVID, and so the songs I was writing were also based on that experience of life. Like now there's somebody else who's more important than myself for me, and like to like break down the ego in that way and think of life in that way definitely affects the songwriting process. But definitely, just the years at it, I think, have a huge effect on the growth from album to album. 10 years since our first album, which kind of predates the band in a sense. I just recorded a bunch of songs and called it Jesse and the Fireside Collective. And then the band kind of grew out of that, and, it took a couple years to get off the ground and get going. But it's crazy to think that was 10 years ago. I mean, they say now it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. So I'm hoping that the proving grounds, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of bands. There's a lot of distraction these days. So like you really have to keep going at it. And we're a grassroots band. So we go out and we earn our fans directly. We don't pay some like company to get us fans, or like, buy bots to increase our Instagram numbers. Like we play live for people, and we hang out and we shake their hands and we talk to them and we get to know what they like about our sound. And like we're open to criticism. We have fans who are very candid with us, and we listen to everybody. We all love each other, and we all trust in each other, and we're not just doing it for money or recognition. We're doing it because we believe that it actually can make the world a better place. And our music is community-based. Like we want to build community. We want to bring people together. We want to do what's right. And so my hope is that in 10 years, we're all still trusting in one another, and that we all still do it for the fans and not for other reasons. My hope is that we can find a sustainable way to continue doing this and reaching people, and that there's still a fan base for roots music and live experience. Nowadays there's all the conversations about AI and what that can replace and what that can't replace. But to me, it can't replace art, because art is born from human experience. And that's what I think that we offer as musicians. And in this band, I hope that we always keep that at the center, true human experience, which creates art and connects with people and builds community.
Are you a fan? What do you think?
Oh, I love Rubens.
What makes a good Reuben?
I mean, it's gotta have the perfect rye. I like a good marble rye, but like it's just any good rye. The corned beef has to be like the best. It can't just be like all fatty and pieces that you gotta spit out. It's gotta be the really good pieces. And of course the dressing and the sauerkraut. I mean, those are the 4 components. But I worked at a place once that did a Reuben that was just phenomenal. It was marble rye. They grilled it on either side. The cheese was melted. The sauerkraut was like top notch. Just like we as a band try to make every element the best of itself and not skimp on anything. I think a perfect Reuben should be the same.